Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Week 1 recap of the college football season, looking at the teams in the American Athletic Conference. There were three games on Thursday, and Tulane, one of the preseason conference favorites, rolled to a 52-0 victory over Southeast Louisiana. Quarterback Darian Mensah threw a pair of touchdown passes, and Rayshon Pleasant had a 100-yard pick six to lead the Green Wave in their easy victory. Also winning big was the University of Tulsa as the Golden Hurricane took on Northwestern State. Quarterback Kirk Francis went 23 for 30 for 299 yards and four touchdown passes, leading Tulsa to a 62-28 victory. To cap off the Thursday playbill, UAB opened at home against Alcorn State and won 41-3 as Jacob Zeno threw for two touchdowns and Lee Beebe Jr. ran for 85 yards and scored two touchdowns. On Friday, there were three more conference games. The West Point Cadets from Army picked apart Lehigh 42-7 as both Bryson Daly and Kanye Udo ran for two touchdowns apiece. Meanwhile, in Norman, Oklahoma, the Sooners led Temple 34-0 at halftime, on their way to a 51-3 season opening victory. Also playing on Friday was FAU, who traveled to Lansing, Michigan to take on Michigan State. The Spartans were up 16-3 at halftime and then held off a rally to defeat the Owls by a score of 16-10. There were eight games on Saturday. Two conference preseason favorites, UTSA and Memphis, both won their games at home. Memphis, behind Seth Hennigan's 308 passing yards and two touchdowns, whitewashed North Alabama by a score of 40-0, while UTSA survived a tough performance by Kennesaw State and eased their way to a 28-16 victory. Navy opened their season with a 49-21 win against Bucknell at home. East Carolina posted an easy 42-3 victory on their home field against Norfolk State, and South Florida entertained Bethune-Cookman and worked their way to a 48-3 win. The Mean Green of North Texas won in a shootout over South Alabama, 52-38, as quarterback Chandler Morris led the way with 415 passing yards and three touchdowns. In Charlotte, the 49ers were only able to muster 7 points against visiting James Madison, and Charlotte went down to defeat by a score of 30-7. But perhaps no defeat was more surprising than the one that resulted down in Houston, as the Rice Owls were upset by Sam Houston State to the tune of 34-14. Out of the 14 games that were played, I correctly called 13 winners. The Rice game was the only one that I missed, though I certainly was not alone in my prediction for that game. So, all in all, there was not a great deal of separation among the conference teams in week one. Charlotte, Rice, Temple, and FAU all lost, while the other 10 teams in the conference picked up wins. This week, there will be more non conference action, but there will be two conference showdowns as Army travels to Sarasota to take on FAU, still stinging from that narrow loss against Michigan State, while Navy entertains Temple, where the Owls will try to bounce back after the drubbing they received against Oklahoma. As I mentioned before, last week, my record was 13-1. How about this week? Well, this week, I see Army taking down FAU, Charlotte coming up short against UNC, East Carolina coming out on top in a close one versus Old Dominion, Memphis, Navy, and North Texas all winning at home, Rice rebounding from a disappointing week one to pick up a win versus Texas Southern, Tulane falling to Kansas State, Tulsa dropping their road game against Arkansas State, perhaps even losing by double digits, UAB losing on the road to ULM, South Florida having the misfortune to play on the road and lose in Alabama. And UTSA will find a way to defeat Texas State. Let's see how everybody pans out for this coming week. I'll be back next week for more highlights and analysis. Until then, stay safe, have a great week, and I'll check in with you again for more updates on the American Athletic Conference 2024 edition.